Hamilton, Miss Hannah, Mr. Henriquez, Mr. Henry, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Lawrence, Miss Lee, Mr. Miller, Mr. Montague, Miss Morrison, Mrs. Nita Garvey, Mr. Paulwell, Mr. Phillips, Dr. Phillips, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Siblist, Mr. Slowly, Mrs. Vaz, Dr. Wheatley, Mr. Williams, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Wright, Mr. Morgan, Mr. Davis, Mr. Montague, Mr. Hutchinson.
Members, once again, it's my honor and privilege to welcome everyone to this sitting of the House of Representatives today, Tuesday, the 21st of March. Special welcome to those joining us online by the various social media platforms. And there's just one person sitting in the gallery, and we welcome that person to our sitting today. Statements by ministers.
Madam Speaker, it's not intended to give any major statement today, as it is quite appreciated that today belongs to the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, who will be making the closing presentation on the appropriations bill. But suffice it to say, Madam Speaker, that we did have an unfortunate situation last week, and that I will update the House appropriately at the very next sitting, which I will indicate to the Honorable House at the motion for adjournment. So just to indicate, however, that a very detailed investigation is happening in regards to the situation, and that we will have for the Honorable House as well as for the nation a fulsome statement next week with regards to remedial action that will ensue to ensure that there's never a repeat of this malfunctioning audio arrangement in this Honorable House. May it please you, Madam Speaker.
Announcements.
Laid on the table of the House are the following: Ministry Paper number 34 of 2023, entitled Instruments Adopted by the International Labour Organization 2022, and Annual Report for the Jamaica Tourist Board for the financial year 2019-2020.
Bills brought from the Senate, petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally, questions and answers to questions. And under this item, this afternoon, there was a question, and that was directed to the Leader of Government Business and the Minister of Tourism. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, so there is this question that was made by the member from West St. Andrew, directed at the Leader of the House, for which the answers should be forthcoming today. So, Madam Speaker, in keeping with standing orders and the tradition, of course, that on a day like today, when we close the debate, we usually reserve the full day's attention to the minister. That's so in keeping with Standing Order 17A, I seek leave of the House for the answer to the questions to be deferred for 7 days. So I virtually said what I indicated earlier we would have said at the motion for adjournment in relation to the next sitting of the House. May it please the Madam Speaker.
Members, the question is that the answer to the question asked of the leader of Government Business and Minister of Tourism be deferred for 7 days. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Thank you. Motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice. Motions relating to sittings of the House. Motions for leave to introduce bills. Presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained. Public business.
I beg to move for the suspension of the sitting for 5 minutes in order to enable the Minister of Finance, who I know is very much on his way, given the nature of the preparations that he has had to make. So I seek leave of the House to ask for a suspension for 5 minutes in order to facilitate the Minister's arrival. May it please you, Madam Speaker.
Members, the question before the House is that there is a suspension of the House for 5 minutes, which takes us to 2:15 at the latest to await the arrival of the Minister of Finance. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. This House is now suspended.
Every Jamaican has the right to know what is happening in Parliament, to know when new laws are being passed, and to give their opinions on legislation before either house.
Every Jamaican has the right to see their representatives in action, making laws, holding the executive to account, representing the people, working for the benefit of all Jamaicans.
It is your right to observe first-hand meetings of the Senate, meetings of the House of Representatives, and the meetings of parliamentary committees. You may also take a tour of your parliament.
To find out more about the Houses of Parliament, please call 876-922-0200. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook or visit.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
Do you want to talk about what's happening in your community or share your thoughts on national issues? Then tune in to Make We Talk Tuesdays with yours truly, Jeffrey Tavares. This and every Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Join the conversation by calling 876